Hey there, students. So, welcome back to School of Tomorrow. This is a fairly recent vintage, this School of Tomorrow idea, as far as my namespace. I kicked it off having seen the movie House of Tomorrow, where the kid's being raised to be the next Bucky Fuller. It's kind of like a lot of kids are encouraged by their parents to be the next Einstein. There was a whole long sort of period in history where being the next Einstein was the thing to be. And I'm not saying it isn't anymore. Everybody would like to be a distinguished scientist or academician or whatever. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the next, and then followed by the word of the name of somebody who's someone we should look up to. So the thing is, a lot of people don't even know who Buckminster Fuller is. They all know who Einstein was. And did the two ever meet? Well, yeah, actually they did, because Fuller wrote a book about some of the practical applications of Einstein's discoveries before the atom bomb, before the real practical applications became clear. And Einstein liked Fuller's book and invited him to meet him in Princeton and gave him his blessing, so to speak, so that the publisher, who had originally objected that Fuller was not on the list of people approved to write about Einstein, well, they went ahead and published after that because Einstein said, go for it. Basically, Bucky's okay. So Fuller always did look up to Einstein, but Einstein, who started maybe being regarded as a philosopher, got kind of shoved into, no, he's just a physicist, not a philosopher. And that way, philosophers don't really have to read him or understand relativity that well. Basically, anything that gets really too mathematical, except for certain kinds of logic, like modal logic maybe, you got to shove that kind of off to the side unless the philosophers agree that it's philosophy. And with synergetics, there hasn't been any agreement that it's philosophy. In fact, we're even behind that it's literature because maybe it makes no sense, right? There's the fear that it's kind of crack pottery that's been holding us back for a couple generations here. And I'm like this double A battery guy. I'm not a super genius, but I keep at it and I connect the dots, and this stuff actually holds up. So, and we've had some discoveries since synergetics, so it actually has been moving forward in addition, but really rather slowly because the horsepower hasn't been there, because most people are kind of like standing around kind of wanting to watch us drown more than jump in and be part of it. So it's been slow going. If you go to this REPL place, though, I'll put a link to it in the notes, or you can find it somehow. You'll get an interesting breakdown of the whole number volumes. That's where I left it last time. Even though it's not being taught in the so-called public schools, we have this material available for the refugee campus people and other School of Tomorrow people who are serious about World Game. Now that's a minority, I realize. It's kind of either party time or um, we're 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 going to dominate the world if you think that it's all about who's got the most military hardware. It's not like you're going to pay much attention to this sort of fragile kind of stuff because you just want to blow some stuff up, right? So we'll talk about that. I've got general systems theory on tap for you if you want to look more at the policy implications of all this. But for now, let's just move you on to the next step of taking a look at the whole number volumes and exploring the Python code that's available to you, regardless of where you might be. Because I know that if you're in the United States, we know already that this stuff is kind of off limits. Otherwise, where's it been for 40 years, right? So I would suggest you probably have a better chance getting away with studying this stuff if you were maybe not in the United States at this point. But be that as it may, wherever you're at, give it a shot. See if you can be on top of something that's still pretty obscure this late in the game. It might do you some. It might help. Talk to you later.